Mr. Hope, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Sports Probe. It's a new show on KVOS TV 12, and we thank Mel Zajac for making these arrangements.
Right.
And because it's Sports Probe, we want to talk sports. And I think the first thing we'd like to address is your infamous boxing career.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, I used to box at the Y. I went to the Y, and I got to be pretty good for an amateur.
When was this?
Oh God, you don't want those kind of years, do you? But my buddy, Whitey Jennings, went down and registered in the highest state amateur as Packy West, and came out and told us about it. And I went down the next day and registered Packy East.
And that's just, you fought under that name?
And I fought under that name. Not long, but I fought under that name.
Well, how serious were you about it? I mean,
I wasn't too serious. There was a great press guy, editor of the Cleveland Press, sports editor. He said that Bob Hope was the only fighter ever carried both ways.
Did you ever take any shots on
Did
you ever take any shots on the nose?
No, I won my first fight because I fought a guy that every time he got hit, he'd look to his corner for advice. And then I had a tough luck. I drew a bye, and I fought the champion, Happy Walsh, and they called him Happy because every time you hit him, he'd smile at you. Rather disconcerting. So I figured I got by the first round. I said, I got to hit this guy because I don't see any future, because he was almost a pro. He was an Art Foot stable who handled all the pros there. And so I threw a big right hand at him, and that's all I remember. I bounced right into dancing school.
Now, your charity golf tournament at Bermuda Dunes, it's been going on for 30 years, is it now?
26 years. Well, it's been going longer than that with the Desert Classic before I took it over. I never wanted to go because I used to play in Bing's tournament. I used to go to Palm Springs to relax and rest, and I said, no, I don't want to head up that tournament. And finally, Ernie Dunleavy, one of the guys, came to me and said, could you get us a sponsor? And I was on for Chrysler at that time on television, and I called him. I said, what about sponsoring the Desert Classic? He said, well, if you'll put your name on it. So I was hooked. And that's 26 years ago.
And it's, I read somewhere,
yeah, it's
over
wonderful.
90 charities have benefited?
Yeah, and it's given about $15 million to the Eisenhower Medical Center. They get 70% of the money, so it's a very worthwhile thing, and all the pros play in it, and all the wonderful celebrities.
Well, I know you're anxious to take a crack at scenic Capilano, so we won't keep you.
It's one of my favorite golf courses.
And what kind of game are you shooting now?
Well, if it was a prize fight, they'd stop it, I think. No, I've enjoyed it up here. In fact, when I wrote my book, Confessions of a Hooker, I named this as one of the best golf courses in the world, and I think it is.
Thank you. We talk about the BC Lions getting out of the gate at 0-5, but you had an
arrives in large bales and is placed on the wire drawing machine. This machine stretches the wire from one thickness to another, stretching the wire at an average of 20 meters a second. This European machine makes a single bale of wire 130 miles long. The wire is constantly monitored so as to assure the right thickness, and 3/4 through each bale, another raw wire is fused together to make for continuous production. Manufacturers may order drawn wire to their specifications and receive prompt shipment in the form of these 1,500-pound bales. The stretched wire moves to the spinning machine, which is actually two machines put together. In front, the wire is woven into mesh, and in the rear, the mesh is trimmed and knuckled to even out the screen and to assure the weave stays together. The rolled mesh is then moved to the panel checkers, where the panels are sized and prepared for the ring and pull assembly. The ring machine makes the small rings that will hold the fire screen in place. When the panels are completed by the checkers, the rings are installed by hand. This machine makes the tassel pulls, the small device that will pull the screen open or close when installed in the fireplace. The tassel pull will be added at the same time as the rings unless the pulls are brass. From the ring assembly, the panels are hung upright and are placed on the paint line. The screens are painted in a dust-free automated paint shed. If a customer has ordered brass tassel pulls, those will be installed after the painting process. The finished panels are then crated and ready for shipping. At full capacity, the Justison plant can produce 1,000 panels per hour.
David James Realty presents a home of elegance and convenience. This beautiful estate home is situated in a park-like setting on 1.9 acres of sculptured landscape and unparalleled views. The property touches 175 feet of waterfront on Clear Lake in Skagit County, Washington. This well-built home combines the charm of country living with modern energy efficiency and contemporary design. Its location offers you peace and serenity with a breathtaking view of water and mountains. It's also minutes away from the communities of Mount Vernon, Burlington, and Cedro-Woolley. The estate allows access to Clear Lake by way of your own 100-foot dock and seaplane pad. You can enjoy tennis on a regulation-sized tennis court with lighting and fencing. There's covered parking for 6 cars, covered wood storage, a dog run, and a rock bulkhead.
The bulge of the distal end at the fibula makes the prominence of the lateral malleolus, or outside ankle bone. The primary motion of the ankle is dorsiflexion, plantarflexion. Upward flex is called dorsiflexion, and downward flex is called plantarflexion.
The people of Whatcom County, Washington, have something exciting to share with the people of Alaska. Something we've been building for a long time. You may think you know Bellingham, but if you haven't been here in a while, you're in for quite a surprise. Since the last time you looked, the people of Whatcom County have been building a first-class international cargo center, attracting new business, making a name for ourselves as a prime vacation spot. We've been building a world-class conference center, bringing in jet aircraft, servicing Coast Guard vessels, and developing plans for a huge new sanctioned World Trade Center. And now, we'd like to be the new southern home for the Alaska Marine Highway System. Bellingham is a lot closer to Alaska than you might think, not just in miles, but in its attitudes and its way of life. We, too, built our community on the saltwater shore with the mountains at our back, and our traditional industries sprang from the fisheries and the forests. But our community and our economy have grown and diversified to include a broad manufacturing and professional sector, the petroleum and aluminum industries, as well as a retail industry, serving not just our own people, but our nearby friends, some 3 million of them in British Columbia, just 20 miles from Bellingham. And we're home to hundreds of the top producing dairy farms in the country, proud to have Western Washington University overlooking the town and Bellingham Bay from Seaholm Hill. We're confident that we can take the strengths and unique character of our community and continue to create new bonds between ourselves and the growing coastal trade of which we are a part. We're looking for new opportunities. At 50,000 strong, we're the closest sizable community in the lower 48 to Alaska, handily located midway between Vancouver, British Columbia, and Seattle, each about an hour's drive away. Whatcom County is a growing community of new attitudes. We see possibilities and take the steps to bring them home. And working with Alaska is one of those opportunities. We've got the raw material and people. And we have more. This is what we have. And this. And this. Perhaps we should feel a little presumptuous, bragging to Alaskans about the beauty of our land. But compared to the crowded, noisy cities to the north and south, Whatcom County offers access to nature that is totally unique, a lifestyle that is attracting new business and more talent, and tourist opportunities that are refreshingly out of the ordinary. In a way, what we are is best summed up by a fantastic race called Ski to Sea that starts on the ski slopes of Mount Baker and ends with a battle of the boats on Bellingham Bay. This is our city. And this. And this. Bellingham is a community of picturesque Victorian homes, shops, and special seasonal events that are drawing the eye of the vacationing nation. And Bellingham is a community on the water, a stone's throw from the San Juan and Canadian Gulf Islands, a limitless recreational boating playground that draws travelers from far and wide. Bellis Fair, a nearly completed regional shopping center in Bellingham, is being built to serve not just the shopping needs of our own 100,000 Whatcom Countians, but to serve the nearly 3 million Canadians of Greater Vancouver and Lower British Columbia, across the border 20 miles to the north. And the Resort Semiahmoo, a world-class hotel and conference center on the coast 15 miles north of Bellingham, shows again that the scope of Whatcom County is changing and integrating into the national and global economy. Western Washington University, where hundreds of Alaskans earned their diplomas and got their first taste of the lower 48, is winning high marks in its numerous disciplines. And Bellingham International Airport has grown so quickly that we now have 3 airlines, including jet service and 30 flights a day, funneling people into and out of Bellingham. And yet, with all this growth, our lifestyle is still the envy of other West Coast cities. For we have none of the traffic or overcrowding or more than our share of beauty. We're proud of Whatcom County, and we want you to share its beauty, its heritage, and its future. The people of Whatcom County have an invitation for the people of Alaska, and we're going to ask you to open it today.